Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ball Not Court Podcast, host Cortez Paul.
Along with my co-host Paul Mack.
I want to thank you folks for tuning in today and listening to the show. Basically, we cover basketball, football, NCAA, or anything that's related to current events with a humorous twist to it, at least. You can follow the podcast at BIOC Podcast at X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram at the same name, BIOC Podcast. You go to our YouTube channel, that's also BIOC Podcast. Our Facebook page is Balls Not Court Podcast. So if you could please just give us a like, shout, comment on any of those, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Balls Not Court Podcast. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Balls Not Court Podcast. Cortez Paul is here, Mr. Paul Mack, and Kevin Carter. Welcome back, Kevin. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going.
Life is lifing over there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, except my yard looks like a freaking like one of them pools at the Olympics. There's so much damn rain been up here with like freaking. You got to have a kayak to get across the freaking yard.
Oh man, I feel bad. Mosquitoes must be out there. Must be crazy.
No, you gotta start fires all over the place and friggin' fans, and you gotta walk around with one of those little bands on so they'll leave you alone. But they're the size of freaking pterodactyls, so it's like Jurassic Park. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then don't get me started on damn geese. Stupid ass geese just come on shitting everywhere, and God. Pain in the ass.
Sounds like fun times out there for you, unfortunately.
Like your goose is cooked, pal.
Mr. Mack, how you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good, bro. It's been a minute. It's been like 3 weeks, feels like.
It's been a while.
We've been some busy boys, man. I was on a cruise.
Yeah, you've been traveling, man.
Good. Hey, I'm trying to be like you, bro. You're the globe trotter around here. You're always going somewhere doing something.
It's funny you mentioned that because I am going to Salt Lake City at the end of the month. So,
see what I'm saying?
Salt Lake City at the end of the month.
Yeah.
For what?
Something different, bro. I want to go to the bobsleigh course over there, and they got like these light up caves. Go explore. You got one life, so
you only live once, baby. YOLO.
Go to the mountains.
Bitch gonna come back with 4 wives.
No, they're just soaking out there, bro. He'll be all right.
Oh man, bro, I hope not. That's an expensive tab.
Yeah, you gonna come. No. They pay for shit. They're independent. They're independent 4 wives. Not
listen.
They don't just run off you.
Hey, well, hopefully that's the case. Isn't I guess I can insert a Zach Wilson joke here, can I?
No. They'll think you're shit. When you go over there, they might think you either play basketball or football.
Probably football since I'm vertically challenged.
No, they'll just look and be like, they'll just assume because you're a black guy in Utah. There's only like, yeah. The only ones there are like they go to college for it at Utah, or they're on the basketball team, or they're on the Jazz. So yeah,
good stuff, man. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to it, and I know Paul's been traveling. Kevin has been doing things in Jacksonville, and
I don't do shit. I don't go nowhere.
Duval.
My traveling was I went to Volcano Bay. That was it.
There you go. Was that your first time there?
Dude, that shit's nice.
Yeah.
That
been a few times.
That's nice. And the way they got it set up with that band, shit.
Yep.
Everybody needs to go to that shit.
Yep. I agree.
That
100%.
band makes a killer difference.
That band
Like,
makes some dance, bro.
we wrote everything. Because not a lot of stuff was on. We got there early, so we was like riding out. But we got the band and did the one where they have the freaking, you come at the end of the slide and all of a sudden there's no slide no more and you just fall into the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one surprised the shit out of me. But we banned that one, and then we went and rode like 3 more, and then came back and did that, and then we rode that roller coaster twice. Yeah, that shit, that it was cool. I liked it there.
Good deal. Well, I'm glad everybody is doing stuff and things while summer is still winding down. So let's get into the Olympics, man. Olympics happened, came and gone. Really wish me and Paul would have hopped on here and did some content, but hey,
it's all right. We're here. We're here now, baby. We're here now, baby.
Life is life, and so for the United States of America.
Oh Lord.
Let's go. We're here, baby.
So the United States of America led the medal count with 126. They tied China with 40 golds, 44 silvers, and 42 bronze. So, in other words, as Mr. Paul Matt Elgin put it with the song, America did its thing.
Fuck
so,
yeah.
Absolutely. So, Kev, talk to me about the Olympics and some of your favorite moments, what you really enjoyed. This was before you dive into it. This Olympics was they did see a 76% jump from the Tokyo ratings, so it seemed like a lot more engaged. Also, probably because of the time difference, probably helped that as well.
It was an easy watch. It was an easy watch. You could wake up in the morning and start watching the Olympics all the way up until 5, 6 o'clock at night, or in the afternoon. So it was an easy watch. Like, I could get up in the morning and I can just start watching the Olympics. That's what made these games a lot better, especially for people in America. We didn't have that big gigantic time difference. We wasn't watching shit on 20-hour delay like we were the last Olympics. So that had a lot to do with why the ratings were up. Plus, they were on 37 different channels. And freaking all you had to do was you have Peacock, and you could watch every fucking thing you wanted to watch. Every dumb sport they had, we could watch breakdancing 24/7 if you wanted to. You could watch that girl from freaking Australia do absolutely nothing except have a seizure, if you wanted to. Who went? You know what would be a good sport to add to these Olympics? What's that? Breakdancing. What?
I mean,
you took out baseball and softball, and you added breakdancing. Okay.
And apparently, not getting run back either. It was a grand opening.
Thank God. Thank God they're not running back. And the bad part is, we didn't even win a gold medal in it, and we invented this shit.
Won a bronze, and the dude that won the bronze from Kissimmee.
Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, I saw him. Yeah, they did a piece on him. He was like, his dad worked at Disney World and all this shit and everything else. And I was like, oh, good for him. He won a bronze. And apparently the medal's already tarnished after like a week. If you haven't seen the video from the skateboarding guy who won a bronze medal, he goes, "What kind of shit is this?" and showed it to you, and it was already like had shit growing all on it and everything else. And I was like, yeah, those medals are not good.
You drop in the river?
If you dropped anything in that river, you're coming up dead. Like, I'm amazed we haven't heard about all the decathletes and shit dropping dead. Here from getting whatever.
Mr. Mac.
Flesh-eating virus.
Your thoughts about the Olympics, just general thoughts and some of your favorite moments?
My general thoughts are going to be
Oh Lord.
All right. Anyway, I mean, the coverage. I appreciated the coverage because, like, I have Peacock, so I could just literally throw on Peacock and I could watch whatever I wanted. Like, there was literally a hub. You can watch all the things that you want. So I would call myself kind of watching stuff I didn't normally care about or I didn't even really know was a thing. And then I think like some of the storylines, right? Like you guys saw all the memes of like just the memes that came out of this, like American Pummel Horse guy. Like that guy got pretty
Oh, that
popular.
dude was a beast.
Yeah, bro, that guy Pummel Horse guy. You had obviously Ray Gunn out of Australia, the infamous break dancer. You had the French guy who hit his dong on the high jump and it cost him.
You know what he said after he did that, right?
Wee wee.
Oh, my wee wee.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Speaking of wee wee, there was that French guy that dunked on LeBron James. Put his wee wee on LeBron.
Wee-wee. He put his wee wee in LeBron's face.
That was pretty good. But obviously the cream of the crop was the U.S. women's soccer team, the women's basketball team, and the men's basketball team, all taking home some gold. It got scary. It got scary versus Serbia. That was a hell of a game. Our team was very interesting. I think trying to manage that team and trying to balance out those rotations was tough. But I mean, they handled business those last couple games. But yeah, man. I mean, it was fun. Like it was cool. Just the Olympics kind of being what the Olympics should be, and like today's internet. Like I really just enjoyed kind of going online, and it was all Olympics all the time, and there was always something new, something different, and just the cast of characters of these people that are representing these countries was just absolutely wild. But yeah, man, like I said, it was fun. America did what they had to do. Obviously, we tied China in golds, but we won overall medals pretty handedly. So, America does what America had to do, and it's going to be cool knowing that the next Summer Olympics are going to be in California. That's kind of exciting. So, yeah, man, let's see how different our rosters and our teams and things will be come the next go around. Because it's going to be way different, and I can guarantee you, Jason Tatum probably wants no part of it.
Well,
neither does Halliburton.
Well, Halliburton kind of did a little joke when he could tweet like, "Hey, participate in class."
When you get an A, when you get an A for just participating in the class project and you didn't do a thing.
Yeah, he seemed to be in good spirits. Jason Tatum is the one that's kind of been
a bitch.
Like even to eloquently put it, he
was being a bitch.
Mom was out there complaining, my son's not playing, and then the former coach of his came out saying that he's not playing, and it's
I'm gonna tell you why he wasn't playing. People that were playing are better than you. That's why you are not playing. Okay? The people that were playing were better than you. Just deal with it. Face of NBA boy. They're better than you.
So I would say this too, like 2028, the team he's going to be a big part of it.
It's going to look completely different.
Right. It's going to be completely different. So his time is coming. And it is what it is. I know the way his teammates played, they was playing certain roles. They had that role. Devin Booker, who did a fantastic job being just that defender and being that 3-and-D specialist. All these guys are stars on their own teams. Yeah. And it takes a lot of ego, like less of your ego, to step back and actually do that. So that's something that Jason Tatum just got to learn. It's time.
When Kevin Durant came back, it's time for you to sit down, son. You can enjoy all that shit. KD was back. You go and take your little back seat and let the guy let him go. Let him go. Let Steph go. Let them guys do their thing. Put in the guys for defense that you needed. What the good part about it is they had a really good guard defense heavy lineup. Like their guards, any of their guards they can put in besides Steph, they were going to play defense, and they had a really good rotation of those guys that they could just throw one out there right after another and gave guards hissy fits. Just depending on who they were playing, they threw whatever guard out there they wanted to. Like depending on the size, they just threw a guy out there and was like, "Hey, you're screwed." And then of course with when you had the inside presences and stuff like that, you had Embiid, who was I don't know, he looked just off to me most of the Olympics. Like it was like he was just most of the time it looked like he was just going through the motions until they started booing his ass. And then he was like, it lit a fire under him all of a sudden. But he just looked like he just was like, yeah. I just wish they would have added another big man. But you had Anthony Davis came in and did a good job, and Bam did a really good job on defense.
Yeah, and it was just a good mix all around. There was a couple of pieces that sticked out there, but Team USA this day. I would say this though: the next 4 years, you got some of these teams that are just going to be tough, man. Serbia's going to come back, be tough. You look at France; they're just only going to get better. Germany's going to get better. Like there's so many good teams that this is going to be a South Sudan was the up and coming team. Lou Aldine, putting his own money into a gym and getting some of these players there that have got some NBA prospects, and Warren's going to Duke. So just fun all around, just for FIBA basketball. I can talk about basketball all day, but let's talk about Simone Biles too. Like, that gymnastics team. They really kicked some butt and took some names. I know they got some stuff going on.
Even hurting her leg, and she still came out there and did what she did. Like that girl is just a flat out. That girl is a beast.
She's a competitor, man. She's a competitor. Leon Marchand, the French swimmer. I mean, he's Yeah, we're gonna be talking about him like possibly really, really coming maybe in Michael Phelps territory. That's big, but this dude is dominant.
And then you got Katie Ledecky. Yeah.
That what was it? That race that you had to zoom out to see her.
Cheer! You were like, where's everybody else?
Yeah.
Here they come. 20 seconds later, they finally get there.
Just dominant. Just so many storylines, and then of course
the track and field was my favorite thing. Like all those races, like some of them, like a few of them were blowouts, but most of those track and field races were just so close. Like Noah Lyles barely winning the 100, like the way he did it in the 100, and then like a lot of the women's, like the hurdles and stuff like that. It was just the track and field is where America showed out.
Yeah, the pole vaulting too, where the dude broke the record. Blanking on his name.
And then he went over and hugged his girlfriend.
Yeah,
that shit was high as hell. Like, damn. My favorite track and field thing was, I think it was the 1200 meter where y'all seen the Nike commercials, right? Where they're all about the winning and shit, and they had the one white dude running that has all the tattoos.
Yeah.
And in the Nike commercial, he does that Luigi look at him while he's running, only for him to lose his race and not even medal. And the guy from Great Britain thought he had it, and the little white boy with the long hair from America run him down and passed him. And then here come my dad called him, he looked like Stretch Armstrong. He come flying up and passed and got third. Yeah, that had to be my favorite race. Coker or whatever his name was. He's from like Indianapolis or something like that. But that was probably my favorite race. And then the funny part is, if you ever want to watch anything, and I always get yelled at because I'm watching football games and I'm yelling at them, and they tell me they can't hear you through the TV. Yet if you watch the Olympics with my mom, Anything where there's a race going on, she's yelling, "Go, go, 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 go." So it was my time to look back at her and go, "They can't hear you. It's a TV. They can't hear you."
You got to mess with your mom, huh?
No, she gets in the Olympics like you see folks get into stuff, but she gets into the Olympics for some odd reason. It's like this is her big gigantic moment where she yells at the TV and you're not allowed to tell her, "Well, mom, they can't hear you." Like she enjoyed it. But the Olympics overall was very good. Snoop being at every single event possible because they're going to be in LA next, so they had to send a representative. So Snoop being at everything and him and Martha Stewart going and eating escargot and stuff like that. Yeah, it made for a good time.
Or Snoop is also hosting The Voice too, so that's right why he was.
Yeah.
he's going to be a judge in The Voice. So
Flavor Flav, sponsoring the women's water polo team, like that's a big thing. Like some of these people are taking and putting their own money into some of these sports and things like that. So it was cool all around to see everybody going to these games and everybody enjoying them, and of course America winning a bunch of stuff. That always helps.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, good stuff on the Olympics. Let's transition to some football talk.
One more thing on the Olympics.
Go ahead.
Yes, because people play for your basketball team don't mean you root for Germany over America. I'm just saying. Don't mean you root for France over America. You're American, you jackasses. You don't root for freaking people you fought wars against and fought wars with. You don't root for them over your own country, no matter how many people you hate on our basketball team. I hate the majority of the people that were on that basketball team. But damn it, did I catch myself saying, take it to the hole, shoot the shit, do whatever you had to do to win the game? Hell yes, because they're from America. Even though most of them don't like America right now, they were still wearing the freaking jersey. The game that got me invested into those guys was the game against Serbia, where they actually looked like they gave a shit. Like when you look like you give a shit and you look like you want to be there, I'll invest in your asses. And that game got me invested because they came back and did what they should do. But goddamn it, don't root for your team just because you're free. My guys that play for my basketball team play for Germany. Okay, well that's good. You don't root for them against America, you jackass. Jesus, how many people are stupid?
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I hear you. Yeah, I'm still gonna root USA, but I got a keen interest. I got a few players that play on some other teams, but nonetheless,
exactly.
I still want USA.
But what they do for Germany ain't gonna affect what they do for the Magic. Sorry, just saying.
I just need front 3-point shots. So, all right, let's go.
No,
let's go.
Remember though, the 3-point shot's closer there, so of course he was going to do a little bit better.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, he still was missing them. So, NFL. Let's talk about this. Paul, what are some things you want to see from your team, in particular in the preseason?
We're gonna stink. I don't think it matters. We're 1-0. We're 1-0. We beat the Lions in week 1, so yeah, we put up a whopping 14 points with a little nice mix of Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. So, it'll be interesting for us to see what our offensive identity is going to be. Obviously, no Saquon Barkley. That kind of changes. You got Devin Singletary now, a couple other young backs, and then Malik Neighbors didn't play the first game. So, that's really all I kind of want to see is what the direction of the offense will be. Because it's on paper, it's not great. But obviously, the preseason is the preseason. I don't get too hyped about the preseason. A lot of guys play limited reps. Most guys don't play at all. But it's cool that football's back. It's exciting, and my expectations are just not finish last in our division. So anything better than that is a win for me. And we're 1-0 through one of the preseason. So we're chilling, bro. We're at the top. Sky's the limit. Let's go.
Kevin, what you want to see from your team in the preseason?
Better defense and better offensive line play. That's about it. Like, all I know, I think the Jaguars have the new kickoff rule figured out after they got 2 big returns off of it. So I was like, oh, maybe they got that part figured out. But yeah, just stay healthy, make it through, get to the regular season, then go all out. I just like that my defensive linemen actually have their hands in the dirt and are rushing the passer instead of dropping back 15 to 20 yards into coverage, guarding somebody they have no business guarding.
For my Broncos, I expect them to stink.
Yeah, baby.
I probably will say my team, amongst us 3, my team is probably going to be the worst. No, they will be the worst out of us 3. Like, Kevin, your team's still going to be a playoff team. Me and Mac is going to be. Right,
we hope.
Boo-hoo. He said we hope. Yeah, well, the chances for y'all be the playoff team compared to me and Paul's team is definitely.
Oh, yeah, they're light years ahead. Yeah.
I will say what Paul said about, hey, don't worry about finishing that division. The Broncos going to finish last in their division. It's just going to happen.
I don't know, son. I don't have faith in the Chargers at all.
Faith in the Chargers.
Whatsoever.
If they just drop the ball, yeah, maybe. But you see what happened. I know people are raving about Bo Nix. I'm still not a fan. But
me either.
He did have a good showing against the Colts. Like he paced the ball down the field pretty well. Did a lot of things with his legs. This is typically what he did in college. But
Bo going to Oregon helped his confidence a ton because his confidence was shot in Auburn. But him going to Oregon, it helped his confidence a ton. Now what he does going up against pros and everything like that, that's here nor there. But he's got all the talent in the world. It's just in between his ears sometimes.
Yeah. He does. He's got the body type, prototypical quarterback. Maybe Sean Payton sees something in him and stuff like that and develop. Hey, I'm a root for the kid because he's on the Broncos. We'll see how it works out. I don't think he starts. I think Jarrett Stidham's going to be the one that's going to be starting. And then if Jarrett Stidham just stinks it up, then Bo Nix, you got to throw him in there.
Well, that will happen.
So, I'd rather not go to Zach Wilson either. So
at least you got those new ugly jerseys to fall back on.
Oh my goodness! Don't remind me. I saw Justin Simmons one, and then
luckily you did throwbacks. So. Luckily you did throwbacks this year. So,
big trade. You got Matthew Judon that went to the Falcons. There were some issues going between them and the Patriots, and they ended up trading them. It was a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yep, 3rd-round pick.
So
the Falcons sent some blood in the water over in that division, going out and getting Cousins and having somebody to actually throw the ball to Kyle Pitts instead of just looking his direction and then run. Yeah, they made some moves to try to lock down that division. Tampa Bay, they lost a few guys, but they're still there. Their offense didn't look good today at practice. I only say that because they're practicing up here, and they went up against the Jaguars defense, who they said the Jaguars defense just went absolutely bonkers on the Buccaneers' first string offense. So I think Atlanta senses something. So that's a good move for them to go and get Judon, put him on that line. They're making some moves. We'll see what Kirk does. If Kirk does his usual stuff, then they'll be good in the regular season, but we don't know what'll happen after that.
Paul, what's your thoughts on J.J. McCartney's injury? He had a torn meniscus and will miss the 2024 season. This is Minnesota Vikings.
That's unfortunate, man, because he looked pretty good on the field. in his time out there. He made some big throws. Honestly, a lot of the rookie quarterbacks look pretty good. I mean, I know it's week 1 of the season, but Joe Milton for New England, 4 for 6, 54 yards, a touchdown. Drake May got a couple snaps. He was 2 for 3. JJ McCarthy looked pretty good. So I mean, like, there ended up being some pretty decent quarterbacks in the draft. I mean, who is the starter for the Vikings right now? If it's not gonna be McCarthy,
their backup is one of the guys that's been floating. He's like one of the guys that always floats around. That they were talking about it on the radio
Sam
today.
Darnold or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it is Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
So I mean,
Jordan Addison had an injury too recently too. So
he got hurt today. Yeah.
So again, like, I don't know if JJ McCarthy was going to be the week 1 starter, if they were going to throw Sam Darnold out there. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of talent on the Minnesota Vikings. They got Aaron Jones in the offseason.
Yep.
You got Justin Jefferson out there. You got TJ Hawkinson at tight end over the middle. So I mean, a lot of weapons. So it's a great offense for a rookie quarterback to be in, a great perfect situation. So it's unfortunate, man, because that kind of changes the Vikings kind of trajectory, losing Kirk Cousins. But these things happen. At least he's getting it taken care of now, instead of that potentially being a injury that he doesn't take care of and he ends up getting hurt later on in the season, and then he ends up missing more time. But just get your guy right, because that might eventually be your franchise guy. So if he agrees to it and it's something necessary that has to happen, it's better you sniff it out in preseason week 1 versus regular season week 5, and then you're maybe in a playoff push or in a good situation, and then you lose your guy. So I'm sure Minnesota will be fine. They have a lot of weapons on that team, but It's just unfortunate to see a young guy go down.
Got you. Kev, your thoughts on the Brandon Ayuk drama that's happening in San Francisco, and potentially the Steelers have a trade lined up for him? What's the resolution?
Just do something. Either give him the money or trade him. It's simple. Like, the man knows what the man's worth. Like, the market's already been set on premium wide receivers. You know what you're going to have to pay. Either pay it or move on. It's just one or the other. Stop dragging this shit out. If you got a deal done, then do it. It's getting on my nerves because I'm tired of seeing about it. If they would have just handled it at the draft, you wouldn't have had to worry about this shit. Somebody would have gave you the first round pick, and then you would have been done with it.
But
now what?
Do you think someone like Brandon Ayuk, do you think his issue is because he's on that 49ers team with all those weapons, that maybe in that offense he might be better than what he thinks he's worth, which is why they can't find the right situation for him? You think having a Christian McCaffrey, a Deebo Samuel, a George Kittle, all these other people kind of, it's like, someone's got to make plays and get the yards and get the touchdowns because there's 4 other guys that can, put up huge numbers on an offense. So you think that
Here's the thing. You gave money to Deebo Samuel, who's not a wide receiver. He's a gadget. You actually have a number 1 wide receiver who puts up numbers even with all those other guys on there. He's still putting up numbers. And you're not going to pay him as a good wide receiver. You gave the money to Deebo instead. Like, I can see why he's frustrated. He's better than Deebo Samuels. He's just a better wide receiver than Deebo Samuels. He's one of the tops. Pay him like one of the tops or trade him. It's simple. Like, if you're not going to pay the man, then let him go. Let him go somewhere that you're going to get something for him. It ain't like you're losing completely out on him. But in order to keep all of those weapons, you're going to have to pay people. So either figure out how to pay him or let him go. You're prolonging the inevitable. Like, if you got a deal set to where you're going to give him the money, give him the money. Like, it's preposterous why they have dragged this on for so long. He's your best wide receiver. You lose him, it's going to hurt. Like, whether we think it's going to or not, whether we think they can just slide somebody else in this spot and they'll pick up. Nah, he's the upper echelons of wide receivers in the league. You just got to either pay him, let him go. It's simple. Shouldn't have gave Deebo Samuels all that money to be a gadget, who gets hurt all the time too, by the way.
Paul, let me get your thoughts on another wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb. There's a contract dispute that got going on, but Michael Parsons feel very optimistic that he's going to play week 1. Do you agree with Michael Parsons that he's going to be there? I know you don't care about the Cowboys, but give me your.
Jerry Jones flexed on him and took him off the roster, so he let him know, like, hey, we're gonna keep going whether you want to sign a deal or not. You would hope that he gets the deal done. I mean, he's a solid wide receiver. He's the best wide receiver on that team. He's their big play guy. Dak's trajectory is way different without CeeDee Lamb, so I think Dak needs CeeDee Lamb. So you have to look at it from the standpoint of if you're going to keep Dak around, then you have to keep CeeDee Lamb around, because without CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott isn't putting up nearly the numbers that he'd be putting up the last few seasons. Yeah, it's just, the market correction, right? It's just what are people worth? What are wide receivers worth? And it's always the thing we talk about every off season is just, pay these guys. They're out there game in, game out. CeeDee Lamb doesn't miss games. He's dependable. He's reliable. He puts up numbers, puts up touchdowns. He's a huge cog in why Dallas was so successful last year. That has to be worth something. And I just think it's a bad look on these owners when they're not, taking care of their guys. It's a bad look for future prospects, future people coming in. They're going to remember these things and look at stuff like, oh, remember that time that how they treated this person. And then, you're going to potentially not be able to maintain talent because they're going to end up going to. I mean, do you think it's a coincidence people want to go to Pittsburgh? Mike Tomlin takes care of his guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that goes a long way. The Pittsburgh Steelers take care of their guys. So it just shows you the importance of a team with a good culture. Are the Steelers a good football? They're a decent football team right now. Obviously, the quarterback position is a question, but the fact that people still want to go play for Mike Tomlin speaks volumes on that organization, right? So if they want to make a move for Brady, if they say, hey, Mr. Ayuk, the Niners might not know what you're worth, but we're willing to trade for you and then take care of you on the back end after the season's over, get you an extension or whatever it is, that's a whole different story. So I think people need to kind of follow that lead and understand, like, it is a player-driven league. Like, these players all talk to each other. They all know what's going on behind the scenes. They know everything that's happening. And you're seeing a lot in the NBA now with, like, all these podcasts people have. Like, you're finding very in-depth behind-the-scenes stuff when they're having contract years and they're having negotiations and deals happen. After those deals are done, these guys are just coming out flat out and talking about what was said, what was done, what was promised, what wasn't given to them. And, the players have a huge voice now, and I think that is going to kind of be the future of sports. At least when you're in a sport like football where your shelf life is very short. You know what I mean? You need to get your money now because it odds are your career might not be long enough to get on the back end. So, I mean, I completely understand it. And, as a Giants fan, I'd be happy if CeeDee Lamb sat it out. That's fine. I don't care. I don't give a shit. But for the sake of CeeDee Lamb, you can't tell me that guy's production isn't worth some kind of restructuring of a contract, some kind of long-term deal, some kind of extension, some kind of something to pay that guy whatever the market value is. I'm not saying you reset the market, but you have to look at some of these other receivers and what they're getting paid and be like, okay, this guy is worth being in the same bracket as some of these other guys. And it's just, it's just crazy. I mean, even the Dolphins, they took care of Tyreek Hill. Yep. There are just some teams that have a culture where they're just letting people know, hey, they got Odell Beckham Jr. They picked him up, and he was super excited to go to Miami. Like, the culture they're building in Miami is super strong. So it's just, you see that happening, and it's just, hopefully more teams follow suit. Otherwise, you're going to end up having a situation where a lot of guys are going to start going to, a handful of teams. I mean, look at Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry goes to Baltimore. Baltimore's another team. It took them they had a little bit of turbulence when they were dealing with the Lamar Jackson situation, but they gave him his money. He was worth his money. He got paid.
Yeah.
And they saw how they took care of their guy. Like they're investing in their guy. Derrick Henry likes the fact that they're investing long-term into their guy, that this is our franchise guy. So he knows he can go to a place where they have the QB position locked down for years to come. He can go there and do his 3-4 years, whatever it is, and it's all good. They've had the same head coach for forever. Like the dynamic of that
stable.
team. Yeah,
they're stable.
They're not going through head coaches every 2 years. They're not a bottom feeder in the division. They're not all these things. So you're going to see that kind of be the thing that I think is going to really shape where players are going to go. So Jerry Jones just being a billionaire owner, just doing what billionaire owners do, and I think coming up in the very, very short future, these players are going to start calling those bluffs, and you're going to start seeing a lot of guys saying, "All right, fine, fuck you, I'm out," and do what they got to do. So, it is what it is. But the NFL is a wild game.
Good deal.
The thing with that one is you paid Amari Cooper. Like, you've paid Amari Cooper before. CeeDee Lamb is better than Amari Cooper, and you're not paying him. It makes no sense at all. The logic that some of these owners do during all this time, and Jerry needs to just go away. Like, he needs to take a back seat when it comes to making decisions for his football team, because as you've seen, the decisions he has made for his football team have been shit. So, hey, let's give Ezekiel Elliott an extension before we gave Dak Prescott one. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, let's do that. And where's Elliott now? Oh yeah, he ain't been on the team in friggin' 3 years. Like, it made no sense the way he went about stuff. We talked about this a long time ago when it was starting for the Cowboys. We said the order in which you do it is you do it receiver, quarterback, running back. You don't do it the way that they did it, and they screwed it all up that time. Now they're screwing it all up again by not paying arguably their best player on their offense.
Yeah, good call out.
They didn't pay Tony Pollard, and Tony Pollard left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tony Pollard wasn't the same after that injury. Like, you can tell he lost some hitch in his giddy up.
Pollard's with the Titans now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pollard exactly wasn't built to be a lead running back either. He's one of those guys that he relies heavily on being that second running back in a two-headed monster system.
Yeah, third down, scat back, catch out of the back.
Yeah, he doesn't scream at you lead running back. Like, he definitely needs a two-headed system.
Gotcha.
That's why when Zeke left, I was like, yeah, Pollard ain't gonna last long. I was like, yeah, I ain't picking him in fantasy because he ain't gonna last long trying to carry that crap on his own.
Good stuff. All right. Well, it's been a busy week for the NBA. Yesterday, they dropped their this was on Tuesday. They dropped their NBA Cup national TV schedule.
Kevin's favorite.
Christ.
Favorite. Yeah. The Emiratis NBA Cup. So the tournament is going to return between November 12th to December 3rd on these Cup nights. Only NBA game schedule would be group game play. So TNT and ESPN are set to combine 14 of the games. Paul, your thoughts about this Cup and it returning, and now it's got a sponsor and
piss in the cup.
What's your thoughts on the schedule so far? And hey, we're playing each other on national TV, by the way.
It's fine. Like, let the NBA do their thing. Let everybody kind of go. I mean, even the WNBA, they do their little Commissioner Cup in the middle of the season. I mean, this is just what sports are now. You got to have everybody eligible to play for something because obviously only so many teams get to contend for a championship every year. So, why not have a little thing in the beginning of the season where players can make themselves some extra money, the NBA can get some revenue, and we can look at ugly basketball courts for, 2 months. But, it's fine. I mean, some of the groupings are kind of weird, but
the groupings are stupid.
Yeah, the groupings are dumb.
Stupid.
Yeah, that whole group C, you see the Boston Celtics group, they got the Cavs, the Bulls, the Hawks, and the Wizards. Holy easy.
Jesus Christ. Let's give the champs, the easiest fucking thing to get in. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Here, how about we do it by regions? I don't know. Let's do it by something that sounds like common sense so you don't have to have the teams traveling all over the place during this little bitty time that you're holding this stupid-ass tournament. Make it make sense. Make sense.
They say it was based off of schedules or of like wins or whatever last year? Or?
Yeah, wins last year and results in the playoffs.
It's based off of stupidity. That's what it's based off of. It's based off of stupidity.
That East Group A, I mean, Orlando, Philly, New York, a healthy Charlotte team could be fun.
They're dangerous.
LaMelo Ball is healthy. LaMelo Ball.
How many teams are in each little bracket? I don't fucking pay attention to it because I think it's stupid. So 5 teams.
There's 5 teams. Yeah.
5 teams.
Your Heat. They got the Bucks, the Pacers, Heat, the Raptors, and the Pistons in y'all group. That's Group B.
So you're making a team in Miami, Florida, go to Wisconsin, Canada, instead of setting it up with, I don't know, Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, New Orleans, or Charlotte, and whoever else that's close by, because that would make common fucking sense.
If it makes you feel better, your game against Milwaukee and the Toronto are in Miami. So they don't have to
give a shit. Okay, so you're making those guys travel all the way over to here. It's still stupid.
I mean, the games are spread out over a few months, so they're not really going out of the way. It's basically their regular schedule.
Still dumb.
They find the games. Yeah, the games are already. The schedule was made long before like the NBA Cup was really probably a thing, but they just factored it in once they set them up into groups. Like, okay, these are the games. This is when they play each other the first time. So I mean, the traveling's not terrible. They didn't go out of their way to traveling hard.
Yeah, because it's going for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Yeah. And then, the team that go into like the championship round, they play the next game.
Still stupid.
Me personally, only thing I didn't really like was the courts, but this whole thing
was terrible. That was terrible. The court,
the elements of like
them red ass courts that they had looked like McDonald's. Looked like the old McDonald's light that they had shining down on the hamburgers. Oh God, it was terrible.
So here's some games that interest me. I'm actually interested in seeing Klay Thompson go back to the Bay Area. His Mavericks is playing Golden State. That's on November 12th. Like I said, Paulo, like I'm just super excited. The match got a national televised game before March. So
oh wow.
So yeah, they play the Knicks on Tuesday. That's on December 3rd, and that's a big statement for Paulo if he wants to make a name to get more brand, and that Paulo Franz and any Magic player that we don't usually get the spotlight since the White. So this is a chance for them to kind of come on the scene. The Bucks and the Heat game would be really interesting. They're always those games.
Always is.
Yeah. So that's
it just depends. It's just depending on who on our team is hurt at the time or not, or if Jimmy decides he wants to play, or is he going into his emo phase again, or whatever the hell he wants to do. Really, he's getting on my goddamn nerves, and I would have been happy if they would have went whoop this off season. But I know I'm in heat blasphemy hell for saying that, but I don't give a shit. They should have went younger. They should have went younger. They should have went and found somebody to put there with freaking Bam while he's going into his prime, and I have Jimmy Butler here who's only going to play 12 games.
I will tell you what's funny. You were talking about Boston earlier. Out of their whole group stage, one game is nationally televised, and it's Boston versus Cleveland. Every other game is on the NBA app. So nobody wants to see the Hawks versus the Wizards or the Bulls versus the.
This was the NBA's chance to make rivalries, like to make it where you have these guys set up, you make them go into these playoffs, and you set up rivalries that people can get around. But they already have some. We already know, like Knicks, Celtics, and stuff like that. But this was their chance to make it more fun, to have all these guys be in these divisions with each other and pound it out for some fake ass mid-season.
I don't know, Kev. Group B is interesting because y'all and the Bucks always play good, and that's always a good game. The Pacers and the Bucks
in Milwaukee, they got something.
You had Giannis looking for the game ball, so that's already interesting there.
You got the Tyrese Halliburton
Milwaukee,
time.
Milwaukee and Indiana would have been in the same division. They could take us out and put somebody else in there that fits that region.
Well, they rotate.
Regionalize it. I'm tired of. I'm just. When you're doing shit like that, make it regional. Make it more interesting. Make divisions. Make it like, I don't know, fucking football does. Just make it to where you have a regionalized thing. That way these people can enjoy the rivalries a little more. I'm just old-fashioned. I think it's stupid-ass shit to have the cup just because you're trying to make people's eyes go on the damn season because the season's already too goddamn long as it is. So you need something to fucking make people pay attention before the thing while football is going on. That's the only reason you made a stupid cup. Because people don't pay attention to you until after football's over. Then we start paying attention to basketball. The only reason they made this cup is to draw eyes on the NBA while football is going on. And I could care less about that stupid-ass cup.
They got to do something. And this is them doing something. So
yeah, shorten the season, start it at Christmas, and be done with it. There you go. Ta freaking da.
I mean, they're just playing out their regular schedules.
Their regular schedule is too long.
Well, no, I'm just saying
82 games is too long. You're making all these guys play all this basketball in the off seasons and all these other things. Making them play 82 more games. No wonder everybody's blowing out their knees and everything like that because the season is too long.
Right.
Started at Christmas.
But what I'm saying is, as far as viewership, I feel like not a lot of people are necessarily going to care about these group stage games. It's when it gets down kind of to the nitty gritty and you have teams like you did last year where you had the Pacers versus the Bucks. And you have the Lakers versus whatever. And it was this whole thing where it was like, these guys are playing. These guys are in Vegas. They're playing really hard in like the first 2 months of the season. It does add something to it. Like I can care less about the first chunk of it because like obviously you could probably look at those groups and know who's going to come out of them off rip. Although the Western Conference ones are pretty tough.
The tournament games last year, the in-season tournament games last year had over 700,000 more viewers than a regular NBA regular season game did last year. So exactly the reason why they're doing it is so they could draw more viewers. And that's just anytime there was a tournament playing game, it drew more viewers because they had them on TV. It drew more viewers than a regular scheduled game. So like if you had Milwaukee and Miami just play a regular game, no one cared. But once they put the tournament onto it, they added 700,000 more viewers per tournament game than they did a regular season basketball game.
But the benefit that
So
this
the ugly court,
has, the benefit that this tournament has is because these are NBA Cup games, you're seeing teams who don't normally get on TV,
such as the Pacers.
Pacers, Magic. You know what I'm saying? These are teams that don't get national televised games. So obviously your viewership's going to go up if you're the NBA.
That's not the fault. But that's not the fault of the team. That's not the fault of the teams or anything. All the NBA had to do is put them on there. The only difference is they're making it a play-in game, or they're making it a playoff game, which ups it by 700,000 viewers just because they put this stupid cup thing on it. So the reason they made the cup is to up viewership for their games.
Well, yeah,
that's the only reason they made the cup. It wasn't for no other reason than to put eyes on the NBA during football season. That's the only reason they made it, and to add games to other people.
The standpoint of if it was just a regular season, TNT might have the Mavericks versus the Pelicans as the TNT game, but because of this NBA Cup, that game is kind of undetermined, and it could end up being a better game than what was originally slated that we were stuck with on TNT because we just get whatever the NBA wants to put on TV because it has Zion, it's got Wemby, it's got LeBron, it's got whatever.
So well, you know the reason they put a Magic game on primetime, right? It's because they went to the playoffs last year. If you start winning, they put you on TV.
But I would say this, Kev, like Tyrese Halliburton, you know, like even his brand grew because of that. Like he started getting different commercials, so it is kind of.
We're talking one guy who benefited off of it. That was one team who benefited off of it.
Right.
That's
just for the Pacers who one. Not know TV though. That's what I'm saying. So it really was big for them. And
but you didn't need that. You didn't need that tournament for them to make a run into the playoffs. They would have made the run into the playoffs no matter if the tournament would have came and then they would have showed up during the playoffs. The only reason they did it wasn't to put eyes on the Indiana Pacers or anybody else. It was to get eyes on their product like football is going on. And it was a stupid idea. Because you're making them.
The tournament gets Tyrese Halliburton a national televised game every week for a month. So
what also gets him? You know what also gets him national televised games? Winning and going to the playoffs. That gets you national televised games too, and that gets your name out there more than winning a stupid cup in the middle of the season.
I don't know. I felt like it helped the Pacers, and I think it did. And I get where you're coming from, Kev, but
it didn't help. It didn't help the Pacers. They won the games that they were supposed to win. They won the games that they were scheduled to play in their little playoff bracket, which apparently they were going to play anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Exactly. That would have got them into the playoffs. They would have made a thing into the playoffs. Everybody would have saw Halliburton in the playoffs before he got hurt.
All right. Well, we're going in circles here. Let's wrap this up.
Exactly. It was a ratings pool by the NBA. That's what it did.
Kevin hates it. Listen to his rant. He hates this.
It's stupid. Don't make people play more basketball when everybody's blowing out their knees already.
All right. I hear you, man. No worries. All right. Anything we want to add before we close up here? We good?
Yeah.
You got Paul.
Yeah.
No, Lord.
That's awesome. Dude, I'm glad you learned that little bit there. All right, well, hey, let's close this bad boy up here.
You should have got a cut of Hacksaw Jim Duggan yelling USA over and over and over and over again.
Good stuff, man. Well, hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a while since we did a show. Like I said, a lot of moving pieces, stuff like that. But football's around the corner, so there'll be more content coming out.
I haven't been on since the last NBA Cup.
Yeah.
That's not true. You were on there in a preview.
I'm just kidding.
Don't gaslight us, Kevin.
I'm the NBA. I'm the NBA cup of this. Y'all want to have 7 more viewers? Then I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness! All right, guys, make sure y'all stay tuned. Next we'll definitely get some more preaching stuff in. Maybe get Kevin back on here and see how his Jacks is doing, and get some more chat in here, get some football, and then we'll have the plan for a football preview soon.
Well, it better freaking hurry because football starts in like soon-ish.
Yeah.
College football starts next week, I think. Yeah. I think the week 0 game over in Ireland is next Saturday.
Speaking of college football, shout out to my quarterback in college football 25 Road to Glory. 4-year starting quarterback, journeyman quarterback. Won back-to-back national titles for the UCF Golden Knights. Went undefeated in his final season.
Get that shit out of here.
He is now headed to the NFL and will continue his career in Madden. And he ended his college career as UCF's all-time leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and rushing touchdowns. So kudos to that young man. Graduated with a 4.0 GPA. He's got brains, ladies. That's right.
And for all you UCF fans, that's about as real of a national championship as the one you claimed before.
Oh, buddy. Speaking of my NCAA, I like to add that I'm 2-0 at Boise State in my Dynasty League. Someone else took the Gators, so I couldn't take the Gators. So, but I got Boise State. I got the Aston Gently guy from Jacksonville, the running back. So he's doing good things for me. But,
Boise State. At least you grabbed somebody that was orange and blue.
Yeah, exactly. So
Cortez will be out here making house calls and doing visits to these young men, trying to get them to come.
That's right. I am the defensive coordinator of the Boise State Broncos. So yeah, I'm trying to do some stuff and things. So.
Well, Kevin doesn't play video games, so.
I thought you would play this. Be the head coach of the Gators, Kev. Come on.
No.
He's like, I'm good. No,
all right, guys. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, you can follow me at @CP on Twitter. Paul, give me your name.
Yes, sir. You can follow me on Twitter at @the_Paul_Mac and on Instagram at @thePaulMac520.
Mr. Carter.
You can find me on X at KevinC2415. You notice everybody still calls it Twitter. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, we don't care, Elon, that you changed it to X or that you had Donald Trump on it for 9 hours of him lisping the whole entire conversation. But yeah.
Beautiful. All right, you get the podcast page. You go to on X or Twitter, wherever we're calling it nowadays. I still call it Twitter. See, Kevin had me putting the S in my head. So I'm X Twitter. You can follow that at BIC.
X gonna give it to you.
Apparently. You can also follow us at we're also on Instagram at BLC Podcast, Facebook and type in Balls Not Court Podcast, YouTube at BLC Podcast, or TikToks at BLC Podcast. We're everywhere. And then you can definitely go to our Spotify, Anchor.fm/Cortez.podcast there. And then wherever you found us, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher. Kevin's
You want me to handle it? You want me to handle it? I got it. Ahead. Wherever you listened to us before, just listen to it there again.
Ta-da. So, once again, thank you guys for tuning in, listening. Get this episode loaded up by tomorrow, because I got to go to work and prepare. But nonetheless, I want to thank Mr. Carr for joining, Mr. Mac for joining, Cortez Paul, Balls Not Court Podcast. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to play this out. Peace.